Welcome to today's video. We're going to be looking at setting up a little bit of a grow tent, but it's not quite a grow tent. I'm going to be making it out of a Mylar tarp, which you'll see that later on in the video, and then also this 6-tier wire shelving rack. I just found this at a Costco when it was on sale, about $50 off, so it ended up only being about $100. But I wanted something with wheels because, as you can see, our basement is in repair right now. But that gives me the ability to move it around if I need to. So my plan for this is going to be using it for germinating my seeds. I'll just use the racks to have different seeds on under the grow light until they get to the point where I'm ready to transfer them into the rock wool, and then so on and so forth. Also, I'm not going to use each of the shelves in this because I'm planning on basically just using 3 shelves, and then I'll fit the 5-gallon buckets for things that aren't going to need a ton of room to grow up tall, that is. So that, and then also I'll probably do cabbage on here. Lettuce and cabbage will probably be the 2 that I work on this one. So today's goal is get this set up at least partially, and then get the LED grow lights attached, and then also as soon as I get the Mylar tarp in, I'll add that on later on in the video. All right, let's get to work. Alrighty, here we are. I've got a 6-foot shelf that is being used now for hopefully 6 buckets. That top shelf is going to be used for basically all of my germinating seeds. So I'll have a grow light at the top that is going to be on a lower dim setting, and then I'll make sure that the base of that middle rack also has some sort of insulate. Probably I'll use the same stuff I used for the top of the buckets, so that way if there's any light seepage coming through the bottom of the buckets, it won't propagate the growth of algae. So hopefully I'll get that set up. As you can see, we're still working on some business in our basement here, but hopefully I'll be able to get that set up here in the next little bit. My next step, I'm going to add some grow lights on there. They are LED grow lights that I got from Walmart on clearance. So here are the grow lights that I'm going to use. I'm going to use one for each level. I know that specifically it talks about for large leafy stalk plants, trees, and shrubs, but the reality is it was on a crazy sale, so I went ahead and got it while it was still available. So in the future I might adjust to another type of grow light, but basically what I'm going to do is work with what I've got, and then if the opportunity arises to expand and get better grow lights, I'll definitely go for it. But right now I don't have a ton of money floating around. It's all going into other projects. So I'm going to start with this and see where it goes. Alrighty, we've got the grow lights attached here. I may in the future just use zip ties. They provided these little chains with it, but that'll be all right for there. Just like the shelf below it, the way that it is a higher profile though, I might want to add in just some kind of layer to level it out, especially once you start putting a ton of water in these. I just don't want it to be unstable. Eventually what I'm going to do is how all of these cords run down the side. I am going to attach probably using the zip ties, attach a power strip right here, and then plug all 3 of the lights in, and then have that running on a timer, so that way we can give the plants about anywhere between 12 to 18 hours of light a day. I'm not going to do 24-hour lighting. I haven't seen that is necessarily better than doing shifts. So you can see that we have our grow lights, a little bit of that insulation on the bottom layers. What I've done on the cordage is to zip tie it to the side. I don't want there to be any unnecessary risk of tangling with the cords. Also, I have added this power strip, just using a couple of zip ties here along the side of the shelf. This will run down the side. The next step will be to add a tarp or an emergency Mylar blanket that will wrap around the exterior of this shelf. All right, we have our heavy-duty survival blanket, basically as a Mylar piece on the inside. And what we're going to do is, it is 8.5 feet by 12 feet, and it will go around the outside of our structure here. And let's get going. So I have just positioned the tarp here to kind of get some measurements. You can see that there's a significant amount of tarp that is up top. So probably what I'm going to end up doing is folding it. Here is the finished product. You can see some posts up there. I'll walk through how exactly I did this. Basically, I took this tarp and then made grommets around the pole, so that way we could zip tie it down to the bottom. And it's the same thing all the way around. And then on the top, what I have done is made posts, just a couple of washers, a bolt and a nut, and then the grommet will just slide over the top of it. So we've got our top row, which is going to be for our seedlings. Then we're going to have our 3 different buckets on top and bottom. So the goal will be to start germinating here probably this week. And then let me turn on the lights so you can see exactly how the grow lights work. All right, the glow lights are plugged in. And so here we will have, as I said, our seedlings. Now the good thing is I can come in and just turn the ones off that I'm not currently using, so that if all I'm doing is doing the growing for the seeds, we're good to go up here. Or if I don't have any seedlings going, which probably won't be the case very often, because I intend to make more than one thing. Now I will point out, I also put in a little Bluetooth thermometer. And what this guy is going to be able to do is monitor for me the humidity, which right now is saying 42%, and then also the temperature in here. I don't want it to get too hot. 1, I don't want to start a fire, and 2, I want to make sure that we have optimal weather for our plants. So here it is, grow tent and seedlings to come. Forgot to mention, I'm going to be using a timer to automate when my lights are on. So I'm going to set it for about 18 hours and just see how it goes. So the grow tent will be, or grow shelf will be kind of keeping its own time.